Zilliqa is a very unique blockchain, right? Zilliqa is trying to promise that you can build, design, and deploy powerful T apps very quickly. How are they different? Well, they're different because they use something called a sharding based blockchain. This is different from all other blockchains. We'll talk about what that really is. In today's video, we look at what's great, what's like just over the fence, what are the risks, and what should you really be doing. Overall, I've given this crypto a 5 out of 6, but why have I given that? Where is that missing one point that this crypto has not got? We'll talk about all that in today's video. Let's start with this, right? Like, what is great? It's solving a problem. It's actually solving a real problem. Like all other general purpose blockchains, it's solving a problem to increase speed because Ethereum is very slow. Even after the merge, Ethereum is very slow. It's very expensive. So it's definitely solving a real problem. Trying to make it faster and make it cheaper. And then there is a great team. Now this is actually the impressive part of it. If you go down to the team section on their website, you will see that the CEO, Dr. Ben, he's actually a Stanford PhD. He's an ex-Microsoft research. He was the chief scientist at Brave before he came here. We did a video on Brave and the BAT token a while ago. You can check that out. So this is somebody who's definitely very capable to lead a project like this. The founder is again somebody who's got a PhD, a very strong background in research, and the rest of the team as well is pretty good. So overall, they have a great team. The technology, right? They're using something called a sharding technology. In fact, Zilliqa was the pioneer of the sharding technology. So what exactly is a sharding technology? Well, it's very simple. Assume, like I'll give it to you in the simplest possible way. Imagine your local McDonald's. If there is a single person who's at the billing counter, the line is going to be pretty big, right? It could be a McDonald's, it could be a Starbucks. If there is only one person there, the line is going to be pretty big because he has to bill everybody on that line. Now let's say there were 2 or 5 people. What would happen? Then the line gets split across 5 different billing counters, and the line pretty much moves faster, right? It's as simple as that. What they're trying to do is break down the network into parallel streams so that you can parallelly process transactions, and that's how they're trying to make this blockchain extremely fast. So Zilliqa pretty much pioneered the sharding technology that maybe other blockchains are also using, but I've not come across other ones yet. But these are the guys who pioneered the sharding technology, and they have a very unique way of leveraging proof of work. Right? So unlike other blockchains which are moving away from proof of work and they're going to, let's say, proof of stake, proof of history, etc. Zilliqa is using proof of work in a very unique way, right? That they're not exactly using it for consensus, but they are using it to establish identity of the nodes. So it's pretty different, compared to how some of the other blockchains have been trying. Probably because of the research background that the team comes from, these are some of the new things that they're probably experimenting with. So that is pretty interesting for me. But what really surprised me was the long list of advisors and investors. Right? If you go down to Messari and go to the investor section, you will see some extremely long list of investors. I have never seen these many institutional investors in a single place. Right? I have not seen any blockchain for that matter, or any crypto for that matter, have these many investors in one shot. It's probably the highest that I've ever seen. That's pretty unique. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's pretty interesting that there are so many investors and advisors. Now, what's just over the fence? Tokenomics, right? To begin with, if you go down to the tokenomics section and if you look at supply schedule, which is the most important thing for us, so Zilliqa overall has about 21 billion tokens. It's a fixed supply, and as of today, more than 60% of the tokens are already in circulation, right? And the rest of the tokens will come out in circulations in the next few years. And if you look at dilution rate, it's not a lot. So even if you invest today, over the next few years, the dilution risk is not is not a lot. So you'll not be losing money just because a lot of coins just came into circulation. So that's not going to happen. So you're perfectly safe from that. So that's something that I'm very happy about. Then there's a roadmap, right? Their roadmap was extremely strong. Right? At least the roadmap so far has been extremely strong. I don't know about what they're trying to do from now onwards, but if you go down to the roadmap section on Messari, you will see that they have planned and delivered on a number of things, over the last 4 years. So roadmap wise, I think they are pretty strong. But what I don't see is what is the roadmap afterwards. What is the roadmap from now onwards? Let's say for 2024, 2025, what are they going to do? Didn't really come across that so easily. The ratings have been average, not the best of ratings that I've seen, and the ratings are not really unanimous. While some are rating it 60, some are rating it 70, 46, 51, 83, etc. Overall, I think most ratings are shuttling around, like, let's say, the 65 to 70 kind of a range, which is pretty average. Staking API though is above average. If you are somebody who's holding this token, definitely consider staking, because they're giving you about 13.83% APR. That is pretty high. If you consider something like Ethereum, I think it was 6% or even lower than that. So this is a pretty good staking APR that they're giving. Now, what are the risks? Right? Everything's not hunky-dory. There are definitely some risks. The first one, of course, is that this is a very crowded space. There are so many blockchains that are trying to do exactly this. Right? Everybody is trying to be faster. Everybody is trying to be low cost. And many blockchains are much ahead, maybe because they started early, they had or they had a great team, or they had some sort of a moat. How will Zilliqa catch up with all of them and eventually surpass them? I'm not really sure, because typically in technology, what really happens is there is something called a 99 and 1 ratio. Right? If you take any technology right now, let's say take mobile phone operating systems. Android corners nearly 85% or 80% of the global market share, whereas maybe Apple is about 15% and the rest of the OS is less than 5%. Right? That's how it gets classified. Right? Take browsers, for instance. You have Chrome, which is the largest, followed by maybe Mozilla and Safari, which are very small segments. Take any such technology, you will see that they typically end up being concentrated at like 90% with one person or one company or one app, 9% who is the challenger, and then 1%. If you take search as well, Google search has like close to more than 80% maybe market share. Then comes like Bing, and then the very small ones like DuckDuckGo. So that is the skewed ratio, and I feel that is what's going to happen with general purpose blockchains as well. All these blockchains that are trying to introduce smart contracts and trying to make it faster and so on in their own ways, all of them will face this dilemma, because most of the projects will head to somewhere towards one blockchain. There will be a monopoly of one or two large blockchains, and rest of them will definitely die or something, because it's not sustainable. And even here in Zilliqa, the risk that I see is that so far they have only about 195 projects. Right? You can go down to their ecosystem section and you'll see that overall they have about 195 projects, although last updated in January. Again, another something to be considered, because if you're a project that is a general purpose blockchain on which D apps will be built, then you're supposed to update it as soon as possible. Right? It cannot be last updated on January. That's nearly 9 months or 10 months already. So 195 projects, very low. And of that, 123 projects might have been funded by Zilliqa itself. So they have a grants scheme where they fund projects that probably are built on the Zilliqa blockchain. Over 123 projects have been funded by Zilliqa. So I don't know if all of these 123 are part of this 195, but if they are, then that's bad news, because you're giving money to make people build apps on your blockchain, and most of these apps are actually NFTs or gaming, which are, I wouldn't consider them as in terms of volume it looks great, but in terms of value not so great. Then the low transaction speeds. Right? If you go down to their block explorer, you'll see that the transactions per second is right now about 0.22. That is so low. Right? They were trying to scale Ethereum, which has 13, 15 or even more now transactions per second, and these guys, though they might have a capacity because of the way the technology is built, they're just doing 0.22. That again is not a great indicator as of now, unless this number improves, which actually shows the utility of the project. This crypto does not seem like a great investment. So what should you really be doing? Well, I think the first one, of course, is you should be doing your own research. Right? That's the most important thing. Don't trust anyone. Always make sure you do your own research. I have given all these links in the description. That's just to get you started. Um, the second thing is consider a basket of smart contract blockchain coins, right? Because like I was just mentioning, out of all of these, right, maybe some of them, like let's say 3 or 4, maybe 5, will actually survive and become big. And we know that Ethereum has already become big, right? And maybe the Binance chain has already become big, and probably there's space for like 2 or 3 more. So what I think you should be doing is consider a basket of cryptos where there are so many of these blockchains or cryptos are trying to do the same thing. Try and invest in all of them. Depending on which one is good, try and invest in all the good ones, because from here onwards it's all unpredictable. If one of them succeeds, then you have that 50x or 100x from that, and if some of the others fail, that's still okay, because on the whole your money is still growing, right? So I would say that's a better strategy. Then don't forget to stake. If you do invest, don't forget to stake, because the APR is pretty good. And lastly, if you like this video, tell your friends about it, subscribe to the channel, and welcome to the Wave Crypto Club. Stay tuned for more such amazing videos.